when you first come into the music industry, you got to take the oath. There is no ifs, ands about it. You're going to take the oath. Just because you get a recording contract don't mean that you're part of the elite. You just on the recording contract, and yes, you have to take the oath whenever you get a contract, but you're not necessarily a part of the elite because you're not making any money. The people who are part of the elite and do blood sacrifices to get to where they are, they've been hand-chosen. And they went to them and said, look, we believe that you can be an asset to our family. Are you willing to be a part of the family? We can put you at the 20 million marker. We can put you at the 30 million marker. And you'd be like, well, what do I have to do?
Of course you're uncertain, Cal. Naturally, so was I, till I met him. But now imagine, if you can, a life without uncertainty, freedom from doubt, the ability to choose, single-mindedness.
One life from each of us, Cal, is all he asks. And he rewards our devotion 1,000-fold.
Personal desires, oh yes, of course, anything. That's part of it.
It's only the beginning.
There was a time, Cal, when man was at one with the gods before the fall. Now we're at one again.
Cal, we want you to join us.
Listen, they're all a part of the boss. You have to take the oath. The oath is the boss, even if you get a recording deal. But you are not into destroying the Lord's word unless you get hand-chosen to be a part of that $20, $30 million work. Now, they just don't tell you, hey, you're going to get that $30 million. They offer it to you because you have to be perfectly aware that we're asking you to do this. See, they just can't trick you. You get me? They just can't trick you and say, well, he don't know he's serving the devil because the Lord won't honor it. You have to be perfectly aware that you are going against the Lord's people. You're going against what the Lord stands for. And when you shake on it, you sign that damn contract in blood. And I'm telling you how they get down. You sign the contract in blood once you agree to these men that you're willing to destroy God's word.
They give you a taste of the good life. You know, they take you on private vacations to isolated islands, or you get the penthouse suites in hotels. You get yachts, private jets, shopping trips. They lavish you with gifts. They make it look like it's the good life. This is the good life. Join us. You can have anything you want. You are a god. You can have the world. This is what they tell them. They don't tell them the small writing. And so people get infatuated by the luxury and the lavishness of being, running elbows with the rich and the elite. Your own private jets and yachts and islands. And the good life. They're treated very well. And then they join. They decide, okay, I'm going to join. I'm going to join with you guys. You start moving through the levels and you realize, hey, wait a minute, this isn't what I signed up for. Because then you start learning the ghastly truth of Satanism. And then when you get in, it's rituals, eating babies' hearts, sacrificing babies, drinking blood, being forced to have, if you're married, adulterous relationships because all of them are forced into adultery. Satan doesn't honor a marriage. You're married to him. Satanists have their own services that mock Christian services. They have them almost every weekend. They have them in underground churches across America. And they do everything opposite and against what a real church would do. Why would you want to join a group of people that think eating feces and drinking urine is fun. It's not optional. You have to do it. They all do it. And they don't complain. They get beyond that stage. They don't complain. They do it. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, what do? You go to an underground Hollywood club, a super secret Satanist club. Do they serve feces on toothpicks? These people are nasty. And you can tell it's the sheer demonism, demonic beings that control them, that make them do it. I mean, what human could eat feces and not just puke? Eating feces is huge with some. Huge. Anything abominable is high-ranking with Satan. Anything that we would think is totally inhuman, abominable, then that's what you must do in Satan's realm. These groups are huge. There could be 100, 200 people at a gathering. They meet on estates, in people's mansions, often on a Friday or Saturday night, so it looks like the person's having a party, maybe. They meet in churches on Saturdays, underneath Catholic churches, for rituals. They have these rituals where they bring in animals. And this weekend, pretty much all the groups had donkeys. And they force all the members to have sexual relations, bestiality with the donkey. Okay, you've been on my nerves for 2 months, you get the cat. And you've been on my nerves for a month, you get the dog. And you, the highest ranking of us all, you get the donkey. She chooses who gets what. And she forces them to be sodomized. They all do this, not just her. They force them to be sodomized by donkeys. They force them to perform fellatio on donkeys. And nobody gets away with it just because you're the president of the United States who goes to the Chicago ones where Penny Pritzker is in charge. Just because you're the president doesn't mean you get out. It means you have to give more. Because you've got the highest rank in the land. More abominable things are expected of you. It goes on. One of the biggest things you give up is any kind of humanity. It's nothing but about humiliation and degradation. You want more, you have to give more. You have to give up everything about what makes you human. And they all don't sit around in their black robes. That's so Hollywood. Because in all these rituals, a big part of them is the orgies that take place. They all take their clothes off. They're all doing drugs.
You gotta do something huge, but what do you do for a final blowout?
How drunk do you get at these parties?
Pretty drunk. It's kind of a social obligation. I have a concept for the final fiesta. Labor Day weekend. We need to think outside of the box.
All right. What is it?
We're gonna have an orgy.
Ew!
This is our chance to do it right. Take back what's been taken from us.
Isn't that from Goonies?
I am paraphrasing Goonies there, yes.
This Labor Day.
I don't know how you could have sex in front of a room full of people. I don't even like to get naked at the spa.
Find out if this group of friends
Is it true? All of you were having this orgy, and you didn't think to invite us?
What are you all looking at me for?
has what it takes
I'm in, and I'm fully shaved.
to pull off a good old-fashioned orgy.
It's part of their requirements. When you serve Satan, you know, your duties never end. It's always more and more and more and more. And on top of eating poop and drinking urine and practicing bestiality with donkeys, you have to sacrifice. You have to cause death and suffering. And when you cause death and suffering, it's accredited to you, and that's more power that you get. You know, these people are willing to have sex with donkeys to help ask people to support their fashion lines, because you don't get a big name brand in America unless you're one of them. So Kanye West is coming out with a new fashion line. He wants everybody's support. So yeah, he'll do his rituals in Chicago and ask for everybody's support.
What happens? They start thinking about things, and the conscious word on them, and they're getting these phone calls saying, you didn't throw up the goat today. And notice you didn't do those subliminal messages like we told you to in your record. So what's up with you? I'm just having a nervous breakdown. Get your ass together and get your act together. See, Fantasia tried that, and they got her back on track. I'm telling you, they had them second thoughts. It's too late. You get me? Fantasia got in too deep. Now, when she had first won American Idol, she should have just took the contract and left it alone. But see, they want more. And how they get you, they dangle stuff in front of you. Well, the way you going, you get a shoe line, you get a jog line, you get these clothing, your shirt. How would you like all that? Just keep doing what you're doing. They're putting it in your head, so later on they're going to pick your ass and say, you gave any thought to want to go higher? I would love to be in a $20 million club. Okay. Then they have one of them women come. See, a man ain't going to talk. Have a woman that's of the sisterhood be like, well, this is what we need you to do. I ain't sucking him off. Well, don't tell me what you ain't going to do, ho. You're going to suck him off, and you're going to let all the other guys go up in you. And if you don't do it, you will not have the money you have now. We're going to freeze your account. And if you tell the secrets, we'll kill your family. And she'd be like, what you talking about? They got pictures of your family, man. Once you become a part of these people, they have private investigators to go around taking pictures of your family. Did you know that?
When you join into Satan's kingdom and you join the high levels of the Brotherhood, it's expected of you to be as vile as possible. If you can't be vile, you're not going to get anything. You stop going to the meetings and you stop going to rituals, you start slowly losing everything that you had built up. You have to give to get in Satan's kingdom. They met to do rituals. These freaks are always meeting to do rituals together. Because if you want the movie roles coming in, then you've got to keep doing the rituals. If you want more fame as a singer, you want more time on the award shows, then you've got to be doing your time in the rituals. If you don't do your time in the rituals, then you suffer. Satan makes you pay. If you want to be a celebrity in Hollywood, then your attendance at these parties is going to be mandatory. Eating feces, drinking urine, having illicit sex with these old men. You give up everything.
See, that's dealing with the realization that they sold. They can't, see, every day they have to be high. They have to, be on a planet of nowhere, because when you really think about what you've done for a few dollars, and they sad as hell. Everybody asks that question in the hood. Well, damn, man, they got them houses, they got all them freaks. How could they be sad? Because the Lord make you shame-faced after so long. The Lord put the shame on you and show you to your face. You sold out for a season.
If your ultimate goal is to be famous, then you're gonna do a lot to get there. Like sign your name in blood in a contract with.
Because if you spend all your time wanting fame and fortune and money and power and position, eventually you're going to run into this wall, this brick wall of the Brotherhood, where you either join or give up all your dreams of being rich and famous. Because they control everything. They control the media. You won't get 5 minutes of media time as a celebrity if you're not one of them. And so these celebrities will go to these Hollywood underground parties, have sex with 1 million old men, pedophiles that are there, the agents and the handlers that control Hollywood, control the stars, eating feces, drinking urine, having illicit sex with these old men. You give up everything and become an abomination just for fame and fortune. And we call them the elite. Elite what? Poop eaters?
Oh no, you gotta come in hard. That's why that guy Travion's dad, he sacrificed his son. Now, Some of y'all don't understand that. And the reason it made so much headlines because he's a Freemasonry, and he's a part of that brotherhood, and he's going to get all the attention in the world. So all the brotherhoods wants to see him. This is his time to shine. So all the brotherhoods get to say, who's this guy getting ready to come up in the lodge? What better way to promote him to him offering his son? And they already know what it was. Oh, okay, this is it. Oh, he's going to be coming up pretty soon. So they don't have to announce it to the public, but whatever field he was in or wherever he's working, they're going to take him under their thumb. He's going to rise up. He's going to be of wealth. It's a reason for everything. And that guy sacrificed his son, man. That's why I don't speak on it a lot, because we know that's a sacrifice. Zimmerman is just playing the part. Pretty soon this thing going to be over and done with. You'll never hear about him again. As I said before, there's levels of rituals, okay? The more wealth that you have, the more rituals of sacrifices you're going to be asked to do. 98% of hip-hop is gay. There's no other way to say it. 98% of them are gay. 2% of them got out. That's not many, because the majority of them love that lifestyle, okay? All actors and actresses sleep with the same sex for roles, contracts, commercials, sitcoms, and that's the truth. Whenever you see an actor or actress and you see all these commercials they putting out, and every time you look up they in some type of movie, that comes at a price, man. They don't do that stuff. People say, well, that's just their talent. See, that's a young man talking. He's a dumbass. He ain't been nowhere. The industry does nothing for free, y'all. Once you are in, they prefer you not to hang around nobody you know. Why? Because people that's not in the industry can see BS. They can see demonic things happening. They don't want you around folks like that because they can influence you to get out or not participate. So usually they pick your girlfriends, they pick your boyfriends. Why? See, you never can understand. You got all that kind of money, and you can date about anybody. I mean, half the time I go to the mall, make them celebrity women look sad. But why come they don't want those celebrities messing with anybody in the mall? Because those women in the mall are regular people. Some of them people believe in the Lord, and they read their Bible on a regular. So that means they got light in them. They can't have that. So when you get ready to date somebody, they prefer you to date someone in the industry because they wicked. You see, they got to keep you wicked. So it's no wonder that Kanye West loved Kim Kardashian, because she's a wicked one. She'd have been passed around like a baton. So now y'all understand why they, Kim Kardashian quit somebody else pick her back up. But who in the hell want to sleep with somebody in them bust? I mean, this girl done had more nuts than Planters peanuts. You hear what I'm saying? And they can't wait to date her. They can't wait to get with her. Man, come on. It's just, come on. They want you to have somebody in the industry because y'all all demonic and under spell.
I'm going to read the names I was given. And these are people, folks, that we see every day. And you never realized, behind closed doors, he's a worshiping Satan freak. He's eating poop and having sex with animals and demons. And they all have herpes, folks. Almost all of them have herpes. It's a given when you're a Satanist. So this weekend involved with donkey rituals, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Rabbi Shmuley, however you say his name, the co-founders of Google, the guy who started Beanie Babies, Derrick Rose, co-owner of Chicago Bulls, or the owner of Chicago Bulls, Mike Quigley, congressman, Senator Dick Durbin and Mark Kirk, William Wrigley, the Wrigley billionaire, Emmanuel Rahm and his wife and brother, Kanye West, Sam Zell, owner of the Cubs, owners of the Blackhawks, the co-founder of Groupon, Valerie Jarrett, NBC News anchors Allison Rosati, ABC's Ron Majors, NBC's Brian Williams, Wyatt Rockefeller, and then you have Hillary and George Soros, you know, you look at these people and you wonder, don't they want out once they get in? How do they get past the feces crap? And I was told that they do enough to stay alive. Look at LeBron James. He was recruited in by his agent and doesn't really want anything to do with it, I've been told, but does enough to stay alive. Shaquille O'Neal, Lady Gaga. Did you see Shaquille O'Neal showing off his ring? Saw a picture of it or YouTube or something. I didn't watch it, but I saw him holding up his masonry ring. He must have went to 33rd degree. When you reach the 33rd degree level, you get a ring, and inscribed on it is your title, which is worthy of worship. Does he really think he's worthy of worship? Would he get sodomized by enough donkeys that got him that title?
You get what I'm saying? So this is the industry, y'all. This is the industry that's going on in America, and most of these guys and girls hate to be alone. And get this, most of them don't have any mirrors in their house. Why is it important not to have mirrors in your house? Because once you have sold your soul, you see images of demons. That's a true fact. Because you don't have any light. The only light you have is Satan. And they hate looking in the mirror. The only time they look in the mirror is when a stylist come over. They don't even comb their hair until the stylist come over. That's how paranoid they are. They hate to be alone so bad. They keep people around them. See, I couldn't understand that way back in the day. Like, why do they have to have so many entourage? Because they're scared out of their wits.
Why do they keep the aliens in a Faraday-shielded environment? Because they have a tendency to disappear right through walls. And if you can prevent the transmission of electromagnetic energy, you can stop them from doing it.
And Gumbo says, no, he's a conspiracy theorist. But I want to tell you right now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy realist. There is a conspiracy. And by the time we finish my lecture in an hour and 15, 20 minutes, I guarantee, if there's any doubt in your mind, it will not be there afterwards.
How greedy are you? How bad do you really want it? Because you're going to have to do a lot of vile and disgusting things to be awarded it. You're awarded it. You're allowed to succeed. That's how much Satan controls. If you're going to be a network news anchor on one of his media stations, you're going to have to be putting your time into the rituals. Sacrificing babies, adults. That's not once a year, folks. They have to do it constantly because Satan's always demanding more and more and more sacrifices. They huff and puff it until you join, and then you learn the true dark side of evil. How do they get anything done in Washington? You know? Putting all these legislations together to destroy America, but they always have to break away to go do rituals. It's a good thing there's a city right underneath the Capitol because they don't have to go too far. Underground city right underneath the Capitol building. Yeah, they don't go very far. Break away and sacrifice a baby on a lunch break. This is the kind of people we're dealing with, folks. And it's all of them. It's not a hand-picked few. Senators and congressmen are elected ahead of time. They're elected ahead of time. They're chosen because they've sacrificed, made some kind of sacrifice that pleased Satan, and they've been doing their rituals and going to the rituals, and they've shown that they can keep quiet, not say anything to anybody, keeping quiet. And so then they're awarded to be elected for a certain year. Okay, you can run in 2012, and let's say they join the Brotherhood in 2008, 2009, and then they're told, okay, you have to do this and this and this, and then you can join in 2012, you can be elected. Voting does not matter, folks. Voting doesn't matter. You know, they sit and they have conference calls. The media networks all have conference calls during all of these political meetings, and they conspire on what they're going to report and announce. They conspire together the whole time these primaries take place. So that way they can put their candidate at the top on all the network stations. It looks like Mitt Romney's winning. Nobody likes Mitt Romney. The Mormons don't even like him. But they like him. Satan liked to sacrifice. And Mitt Romney's afraid to die, so they can control him by fear. And these are the people we look up to. Brad Pitt, those two, Angie and Brad, were doing sacrifices and rituals with the Obamas on Halloween.
Oh, well, I love my mama, too. Well, we're going to send you a letter and answer it within a 24-hour period, and we'll tell you what we can give you. What you mean, a letter, man? Just tell me right here. No. Go home. We're going to send you a letter. And that letter they're going to explain. But it's going to be coded like what they want him to do if he's willing to do this. You see, it's just like nursery rhymes. And you're like, what? If I do what? Well, I don't understand the letter. Give us your mama, and we'll put you in the $20 million club. Man, you crazy. And if you're weak, You ain't got the Lord on your side. You sitting at home in that dark room. You tired of eating Roman noodles. You ain't got no running water, electricity out. You buy a candle going, all right, man. She work, downtown. She get off at 6. What I supposed to do? Set it up, have her at home. You catch a plane, go somewhere for a couple of days, and we'll send you a text. All right. A week later, they give them a text. They won't say that she's dead. They'll be like, the party was great. Thanks for showing up. Because it's like coded. They ain't going to just come out and say they killed her, right? He heard on the news she dead. He break down. He goes to his bank account and got $20 million in his bank account. He slowly forget his mama. Ask Kanye West. That's how he got down. Psalms 37 and 17 again. For the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord uphold the righteous. But when you're righteous, the Lord holds you up. Even though it feel like your life's getting ready to cut off, feel like you ain't got that money, look like you ain't got the right kind of taxes coming in because they cut you this year, right? But you're righteous. Your knowledge is prevailing. You're powerful. Oh, the Lord getting ready to bless, man. The Lord gonna bless the 1/3. Don't y'all keep tripping off of Hollywood and don't keep tripping on how to get that extra money. Just hold steady what you got.
Human sacrifices, cannibalism, candles, and exorcism. Human sacrifices, human sacrifices, human sacrifices, human sacrifices.
$20 million club and higher, $100 million club where these brothers were operating in, oh, you got to pay the price. You got to bond yourself to these people forever. Let's look at some of the other people that have bonded themselves to this demonic energy. When Kanye West wanted to be up in that space so bad, he signed the oath, took the oath rather, and signed on, became a Mason and took the oath, wrote Lucifer, Son of the Morning, for Jay-Z, and that was his initiation, and sure enough, he lost his mom.
I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. Lisa came with a few toys like a Happy Meal.
Each one of these individuals had to make a blood sacrifice. So let's take a closer look at this. Who did Damon Dash sacrifice? He sacrificed his fiancée. Who was he engaged to at the time? Aaliyah. Who died in a plane crash? Who did Suge Knight sacrifice? Tupac. Who Irv Gotti was supposed to sacrifice, but it didn't happen? Ashanti. She broke away from the camp and now she's doing well. But that was his blood sacrifice. Are you following me?
Yes, sir. Teach.
Also suffered the death of close friend rapper Proof at a Detroit nightclub shooting.
Detroit rapper Proof is dead after a shooting at an illegal after-hours club in Detroit.
Worth more than any award is. But I ain't trying to have none of my people hurt or murdered. It ain't worth it. I can't think of a perfect way to word it. Good to just say that I love y'all too much to see the perfect.
Well, hip-hop royalty has lost a son, and reality TV is gearing up for the fall. Time now to catch up on all the latest entertainment news. Showbiz Tonight's AJ Hammer is in New York for us. Hi, AJ.
Hey there, Brooke. Yeah, some sad news out of Los Angeles today. It was confirmed this morning that the 20-year-old son of hip-hop star Dr. Dre was found dead in his home on Saturday. Now, several reports say that Andre Young Jr. returned home Saturday morning after a night out. They also say that Young's mother found him unresponsive later on that morning. She called 911. Those reports have not been confirmed yet, and the cause of death has yet to be determined by the coroner's office. We did, however, get a statement from Andre Young Sr.'s publicist. She said that Dr. Dre is mourning the loss of his son and asking everyone to respect their privacy and grief. And certainly our thoughts with Dr. Dre and his family on a real terrible day for them.
Jennifer Hudson wanted to be up in that space. Yep, her family got taken at it on some ritual killings. Are you following me? So we need to understand this particular thing. You're not going to operate up into the $50, $100 million club, and you're not paid the ultimate price now.
Jennifer Hudson remained in seclusion one day after the bodies of her 57-year-old mother, Darnell Donnerson, and her older brother, 29-year-old Jason Hudson, were found in the home where she grew up. Both had been shot to death. Autopsies were being performed today. Folks living in the rough Inglewood neighborhood on Chicago's South Side heard gunshots in the morning, but the murders weren't reported until afternoon, when Hudson's sister Julia got home to find her mom and brother dead and her 7-year-old son, Julian King, missing. An Amber Alert for Julian remains in effect tonight.
Let's go.
Listen to this. Every Masonic lodge is a temple of religion, and its teachings are instructions in religion. This is from Albert Pike's classic book, Moral and Dogmas, on page 213. Since they are a religious temple, what are they searching for if they're not looking for Jesus Christ? Like we here in this particular church building, this is who we're looking after, is our Lord and risen Savior. Question is, who are they looking for then? Freemasonry is a search after light. That search leads us directly back, as you see, to the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is a very ancient occult symbol in which you take Hebrew letters from their alphabet, and if you arrange them in a certain pattern, not only can you formulate and cast spells through it, but you can also glean the hidden mind of God. Imagine that. Just by arranging a couple of letters, you can actually gain hidden knowledge from God's mind. This is basically what the Kabbalah is about. But isn't the Kabbalah a religion, though? Once again, according to Albert Pike's book, Moral and Dogmas, all truly dogmatic religions have issued from the Kabbalah and returned to it. Everything scientific and grand in the religious dreams of all, the Illuminati. And so many Masons tell me that their lodges have nothing to do with the Illuminati. The first 3 degrees of Masonry, they're known as the Blue degrees. You receive this at what's known as the Blue Lodge, or the Blue Lodge degrees. You would think that those people who are entering these first 3 degrees, that they're told the truth of what's going on. No, you're right, they won't. Albert Pike even put it very clearly when he stated, the blue degrees are but the outer court or portico of the temple. Part of the symbols are displayed there to the initiate, but he is intentionally misled by false interpretations. It is not intended that he shall understand them, but it is intended that he shall imagine he understands them. So these people from day one are being lied to and they're being deceived. Their own writings clearly demonstrate this. So then the next question one would have to ask oneself is, who then is allowed to know the truth of what's going on in the Masonic world? We must create a super right, which will remain unknown, to which we will call those Masons of high degree whom we shall select. With regard to our brothers in Masonry, these men must be pledged to the strictest secrecy. Through this supreme right, we will govern all Freemasonry, which will become the one international center, the more powerful, because its direction will remain unknown. So then, there's an outside type of Masonry, and then there is a show Masonry. In other words, something's just being put out and then something's being kept behind the scenes. It is this which has served as the basis for our organization of secret Masonry, which is not known to, and aims which are not even so much as suspected by these chattel, attracted by us into the show army of Masonic lodges in order to throw dust in the eyes of their fellows. They also go on to state, Gentile Masonry blindly serves as a screen for us and our objects. This is pure Illuminati doctrine we're talking now. Because the Masons themselves were infiltrated by the Illuminati back in July 16th of 1782. Dr. Weishaupt and Baron Adolf von Koenig convinced representatives from the 23 Supreme Councils of the Masonic world back then to follow the Illuminati towards a 7-part plan which would lead to the creation of a new world order. And this was not some type of clever catchphrase that George Bush came up with on September in 1990 when he stood up in front of Congress. No, the New World Order, it's a very old expression and it's a very old philosophy. So then if Masonry is only so much show on the outside, what are they really trying to hide on the inside? We shall destroy among the chattel the importance of the family and its educational value. I think that about says it all, don't you? You know? They said what they're going to do is just take the importance of it and get rid of it. If they do that, they've got it. How were they doing this? Well, how many of you can say population zero growth? Occult-run daycare centers. Consider that 1 in every 2 marriages end up in divorce. How about these modern-day temples of Moloch, which we politically, in the correct vernacular, call abortion clinics? If you study the way they are executing these babies in these abortion clinics, you're going to find out that these methods are old hat. They were doing it all the way back in the temples of Moloch. This is why during the early parts of the 70s, the Illuminati were funneling tens of millions of dollars behind this cause, because they wanted all this blood to be spilled, because it would be considered very viable human sacrifices unto Lucifer.
Have sent me pictures. This is a common theme. Therapists working with satanically abused people, trying to get their minds back after all this abuse, and sexually abused people that have been in these mind control projects. And it's a very consistent theme that when these people who've been victims of this, they use a lot of drawing to try to draw out their memories. Again and again, what they draw are people with reptilian eyes. These are actually drawn by a satanically abused person, and these were sent to me with their permission by their therapist. Again, Roman Polanski was talking from knowledge, shall I put it, when he made that film Rosemary's Baby in the 60s with Mia Farrow. And for anyone who doesn't know about that, if you can get hold of a copy, it's worth watching. Mia Farrow is pulled in unknowingly because they want her to interbreed with one of these non-human entities to give birth to a child of the bloodline. And this satanic group get hold of her and they put her under mind control, and they impregnate her and stuff. And towards the end of the film, when she starts to realize what's going on, she goes into this apartment where it all went on. Her memories start to come back, and she sees the baby she gave birth to in a non-conscious state, and you have a quick flash of it in the movie, and it's a reptilian baby with reptilian eyes. Well, Polanski should know, let's put it that way.
You know, they read in the Bible that, we're all going to land in a lake of fire and this and that. So that's baloney. Beside that, he said, spirits now, even spirits, have the capacity now to outlive fire. He says, you don't believe it, go to India or some of those countries where they have firewalkers. And it's done by the power of demon spirits. These people are energized by demon spirits, so they can walk on those hot coals without burning themselves.
បាទឥឡូវសូមលោកពូអញ្ជើញមកភ្លើងហុយតែម្ដងបាទអូកំពុងឆេះតគូតកើតែម្ដងបាទបាទសូមអញ្ជើញបាទ1 2 3អប់ខ្ញុំតន់តែពីណាហើយចង់ដឹងមើលតើវាពេញមាត់ខាំបាទអូ ប បាទ ឃើញហ៎បាទអូ
À quel moment vous avez réussi à l'assumer, à vous maquiller comme vous vous maquillez aujourd'hui? Vous vous maquillez, c'est pas simplement le travail de nos équipes.
Non, j'étais maquillée d'avant. Maintenant, j'en joue. Je m'amuse beaucoup, je me maquille de toutes les couleurs, je mets beaucoup en avant. Mais c'est vrai qu'avant, c'était beaucoup un gros complexe, je le cachais au maximum. Et surtout, éviter le regard des autres.
Et comment, mettre des lunettes alors?
Non, pas du tout. C'est... en gros, j'avais pas beaucoup d'amis, quoi. C'était vraiment... en gros, j'avais pas beaucoup d'amis, quoi. C'était vraiment... moins on me parlait, mieux c'était.
J'arrive pas à comprendre ça, franchement. Pas à comprendre ça, franchement, que des yeux de chat empêchent de voir des amis.
Je veux dire, si quelqu'un me parlait, un garçon ou une fille de la classe me parlait, c'était vraiment foutu pour lui, hein. C'était... personne ne s'asseyait à côté de moi, c'était vraiment...
C'est foutu pour lui parce que...
Personne ne s'asseyait à côté de moi, c'était vraiment...
C'est foutu pour lui parce que...
Parce qu'il m'avait parlé, c'était vraiment... personne...
C'est la paria, quoi.
Voilà.
My children disclosed just sexual abuse in early 1993. They were masturbating. They were pulling their pants down at the supermarket. They started having oral sex with my St. Bernard, inserting pens and pencils into the dog's rectum. The behavior got worse and worse and worse. I woke up one morning. I don't usually talk about this stuff. I woke up one morning to the bread, the butcher block that you cut bread on, because I'm a vegetarian, so it wasn't a butcher block. And there was a huge bread knife in the middle of the butcher block with a big pool of ketchup in the middle of it. And that was on my kitchen table. And I said to my children, what is this? Who did this? What does this mean? And my son John said, Mom, this is some of the things that we have to see and that have been done to us. I knew I had a big problem, and I had no idea what it was called. I called all over the country. I had children's drawings for the police. My husband was under arrest for sodomy and oral sex with my children. And I had all kinds of drawings that had circles and people with, there was black candles always in the middle of these tables, and all this oral and anal sex pictures. And I went to the Catholic Church and I said, I don't know what this is, but it seems to me these drawings are significant. There are all kinds of symbols I don't understand, and devil heads and goats heads, and I had no idea I did not know what satanic ritual abuse was. Church asked me if I ever had a psychiatric exam. And I said, actually, I'm completely sane. I just know that there's symbols in these pictures. No one would help me. Even though there was a prosecution going on, they said if you ever bring up satanic ritual abuse, your credibility is lost and you'll just be a kook and it doesn't exist and it's not organized in America. Just focus on child sexual abuse. So I took my children to a child sexual abuse hospital. And while they were being treated, and I had legal custody of my children, and my husband and his lawyers and the judge found out my children were in an expert hospital, they confiscated my house, everything I've ever owned, from my baby pictures to my clothes. I walked away with literally the clothes we had on our backs. Took my cars, my federal post office box mail, my income, my assets. I lost everything by taking my children to an expert on child abuse. It was trying to stop me from what my children could disclose from being uncovered, to try and just break that we had no assets to have my children have medical attention. The children were being treated for sexual abuse, and I had provided all the documentation. And one day the doctor said to me, I need you to come into my office. She said, this is a classic case of SRA. I had no idea. I mean, SRA, is that like an Irish Republican Army thing? I don't know what SRA is. She said, satanic ritual abuse. And she showed me the drawings that the children were doing in her office, and they were of blood sacrifice, of people cutting their arms and dripping blood in chalices, of chalices with devil heads, and on and on and on. It includes group sex. It includes children being killed. Because I'm only one person, and my life has been annihilated, although I have to say it's being rebuilt for the better. But John and Ben, my boys, are 11 and 8, and have lived for 15 or 16 months in the home of a satanic abuser who has been documented as a member of a cult, who 25 people and the state's attorney in Connecticut are investigating and have substantiated sexual abuse and the cult. And yet the governor and no one has been acting to protect my children. So it makes me wonder just how high this goes. But I'll tell you a story about a little boy that affected my life, and I guess it's besides John and Ben, who I always think about and who I want to stop this from ever happening to another child again. I heard a story about a little 8-year-old boy. His mom had taken him to protect him, and they were found. And I had been underground for 3 years, by the way. The mother and this little boy were found. The little boy was taken to a basement. He was crucified alive. First he was skinned. When they torture the children, it causes a physical reaction of the endomorphins in your body to just increase because of the terror and the pain. So when the Satanists drink the blood, they actually get like a chemical, a high, like a drug high from the blood of a tortured victim. And this little boy was found in the basement dead, with no blood, skinned alive and crucified.
One of the driving forces behind this movement, the Illuminati, is the satanic cult movement in this country today. So I began my little journey forward. And one of the matters that I developed information about was an individual I learned about was Aleister Crowley. He likes to have his name pronounced Crowley to rhyme with holy. And the Satanists today, and for the number of years in the past, have basically used his philosophy and his writings as a guide.
He had so many Masonic degrees that you could fill up 5 pages of a book with them. This guy was probably the most highly honored Mason in the world. He styled himself the wickedest man in the world. He believed himself to be the great beast. And he changed his name to Aleister Crowley, so it would add up in both English, Hebrew, and Greek Kabbalah as 666. In 1904, Crowley had a communication with an extraterrestrial being named Iwas. And this being, through his wife, kind of a channeling type operation, brought forth a book that was called the Book of the Law in 1904. And this book declared that the slain and risen God, i.e. Jesus, had stepped off the throne, and that a new God, the crowned and conquering child, was taking his place. As a result of this, Crowley proclaimed the end of Christianity and the start of Crowleyanity. Crowley taught that the way you could live forever was by vampirizing little children sexually. And he personally bragged of having slaughtered 150 male children in 1 year. This is why he was called the wickedest man in the world.
And now listen to this sentence, folks, closely. For the highest spiritual working, one must accordingly choose that victim which contains the greatest and purest force. A male child of perfect innocence and high intelligence is the most satisfactory and suitable system. We're talking about human sacrifices.
drug them up, and they'd take a sacrificial knife and they'd start from the chest and move all the way down to your abdomen. And then that's how they sacrificed, and they'd collect the blood and they'd drink it. When the mid-September through mid-November, they sacrifice babies and nothing but babies because they need the pure blood of the untainted children. And I didn't understand what it was like. I can't believe I'm seeing this every year of my life. I've experienced that, and that was the hardest part for me. Is like hearing those babies literally scream and cry, and then seeing their blood flow.
The little boy was taken to a basement. He was crucified alive. First he was skinned.
Why is it that no one knows this?
Because there's Satanists in the police force and also in the government, the army. They're everywhere. They're even on the council of the representatives of the United States also. And they're silenced because this is not being exposed because they don't want it to be exposed. Because they're really good at lying and hiding things.
Rebecca, what happens to the people that want to come out of Satanism?
They get killed. They get followed. They get taken. They get sacrificed in front of the congregation of the Satanic Church.
Why?
Because they know too much information about the Satanists and who their names and places of where they keep the people underground, and they just know too much information. It's like being in a gang or in a mafia. You don't get out alive without consequences.
The Illuminati doesn't produce rock music to entertain you. They don't produce rock music to make money. They don't need that money. They own everything anyway. They do it to put demonic influence in your life.
Keeping them honest tonight, potentially hundreds of military employees and contractors who may have bought child pornography online but haven't been prosecuted or even in some cases investigated. That's right, you heard me, child pornography. As many as 1,700 names, according to a U.S. Senator, on a list of 5,200 from an internet sting operation overlooked the first time around 4 years ago. Only now are they supposedly getting a second look, and only after pressure from investigative reporters and the U.S. Senator you're about to hear from, Republican Charles Grassley. Pentagon porn story began in 2006. An Immigration and Customs Enforcement child pornography sting operation called Project Flicker produced payment records of about 5,200 people, many of whom provided Army or fleet zip codes or military email addresses. Subsequently, the Pentagon's investigative branch, DCIS, began going through the ICE list to identify who actually was a DoD employee or a contractor. The investigation, however, only ran for 8 months and only cross-checked some 3,500 names for Pentagon ties, according to a senator. According to DCIS documents revealed in a Freedom of Information Act request, out of that 3,500, investigators uncovered 264 employees or contractors, including staffers for the Secretary of Defense and contractors at the NSA. 9 people had top security clearances. But only about 20% of those 264 people were completely investigated. Fewer still were prosecuted, and after about 8 months, the entire probe was halted. It left about 1,700 names totally unchecked, 1,700 alleged kiddie porn customers, an unknown number of whom may still work in some capacity for the Defense Department. Late last summer, after investigations by the Boston Globe and Yahoo News revealed the figures, a Pentagon spokesman promised to reopen the investigation, conceding that DCIS had stopped due to lack of resources. DCIS says it is now revisiting all 5,200 names, telling Senator Grassley's staff they've now identified 302 employees or staffers. The Pentagon's IG telling us, and I quote, any suggestion that the DoD Office of Inspector General or its criminal investigative arm, the DCIS, is not taking Operation Flicker and the issue of child pornography seriously is in error. But Senator Grassley says he is still not getting the cooperation he needs from the Pentagon. I spoke to him earlier. Senator Grassley, you were told that 5,200 Defense Department employees had allegedly purchased child porn, and yet you're saying only 3,500 of those names were cross-checked by a defense investigator to see if they were really DoD personnel. That's mind-boggling. Why weren't all of them cross-checked?
Well, we don't have an answer to that question, but it's quite obvious that the other 1,700 should have been cross-checked, and that's one of the answers to my questions that I want answered, and the implication of our questions is they ought to be cross-checked. We ought to find out, because we're talking about not just general pornography here. We're talking about child pornography, and child pornography, taking that down is a crime. And also, there's an added factor here, considering the fact that there's a lot of secured information, national security information, that the world shouldn't know, that a lot of times foreign operatives will use this sort of criminal activity to blackmail to get information. So to blackmail to get information. So there's a lot of things here that are involved because it's a Defense Department issue as opposed to any other department of government.
Right. I mean, sir, if your numbers are correct, 1,700 people out there who allegedly purchased child porn, we don't know if they were ever cross-checked or investigated, right?
That's true, and there's been some other names in the hundreds where there's the names have actually been given out that we don't know what's going to be done about them. Now, there's some reason to believe that it's a criminal act. It's been so far since it's happened that they could be stale. Maybe you can't have criminal prosecution, but we would be looking at administrative action to be taken against these people. And I want to know who they are and what administrative action's being taken.
Yeah, because what's even more startling is that of the 302 people confirmed as DoD personnel or contractors, only 70 of them were actually investigated. How is it possible that all of them weren't investigated?
Well, here's, I think, the thing that overrides everything you just asked, and that is we ask criminal investigators in the Division of Defense that does that, the extent to which supervisors of these people knew that this was going, and the criminal investigators couldn't even answer that question for us when we had a briefing from them.
So wait a minute, so you're saying we don't even know if the supervisors of these people were told that their employees may have downloaded child porn?
That's the question that my staff asked of the criminal investigators, and they could not answer the question whether or not supervisors had been informed of this. And if supervisors don't know about it, it's a bad environment that things like this can happen in the first place, and worse, that it's a criminal act when things are downloaded.
Until you started raising this issue, this investigation was closed by the Defense Department. They only investigated for about 8 months. Do you think the Pentagon just didn't take this seriously?
Well, it's quite obvious that they didn't take it seriously, because it wasn't only that I was asking the questions. It wasn't until it started getting questions from people like you who are journalists that this got their attention, and we got any consideration and reopening of this in the first place.
Well, one of your staffers told us that getting information from the Defense Department on this has been like pulling teeth. Is that how you describe it?
Yeah. Oh, I've been involved in oversight of the Defense Department for almost all the years I've been in the United States Senate, and it's very difficult to get answers from a lot of bureaucracies, but it's quite more difficult in the Defense Department.
Senator Grassley, I appreciate your time. We'll continue to follow this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Lose my eyesight, so they initiated me to the dark side at the age of 10 years old. So the first love, the first encounter I had as a 10-year-old boy with the devil showed up and took the offering of giving my life to him, and they put 5 beads around my neck, the 5 worst the 5 worst demons of principalities that are under Satan. They put them right under my neck, which is Santeria. They put them right under my neck, and they said, these are going to be your spiritual guys, and this is going to be your guardian angels, and they're going to take care of your life from now on.
This is the building, this corner building here used to be almost abandoned. The corner building here, it's in the book. That I used to go up and down. Me and my brother used to go get the water and the pump. We go to the pump right there. All the apartment was all empty. The apartments, all the apartment was abandoned. Over here, only me, my family, and 2 other families lived here.
And my whole childhood was stolen. My whole childhood was worshiping the devil, going to demon church. I would go to demon church from 7 in the evening to 5 in the morning, being trained by witches and warlocks, colors, principle, rights. Who owns this region? Who's in this region? Who's running this principality? What principality name is this? I had how to channel powers. At the age of 13 years old, I was astral projecting my body. I would leave my body home and go to regions and go into the spirit realm and curse dark side, curse neighborhoods, put spirit of prostitution, spirit of drugs into the neighborhood, homosexual spirits here, demonic spirit here, spirit of murder, spirit of suicide. I know how to channel all those spirits into the neighborhood. At the age of 15, 16 years old, I was going into hospitals and putting death in ICU, death in one room, so this person can die, because I wanted to be promoted with the devil, to move up that ranks, to be the biggest devil worshiper in New York City. The devil became my daddy. He replaced my dad because I prayed and I said, you killed my dad. At the age of 33 years old, my dad got shot in a nightclub in the face for a woman that wasn't even his, when he had to go up and home. And the devil took him out. The devil said, I replaced the old to keep the new. And the devil became my daddy.
There was a club here, and my father died there at 33 years old. And we lived over there. And then remember that when I was 11-year-old boy, there was a store right here in the corner. And the guy got shot right there in the street right there, right next to the little corner here. The guy got killed there when I went to get the gallon of milk.
And I moved up the ranks from devil worshipping. I moved up the ranks. I moved up with principalities and demons to the point that I was able to sit with the devil like I'm sitting with you today. And the devil would manifest himself in human form. Or the president would come into the room, and I would speak to the devil all night long. And he would give me assignments. I would go to 5 clubs or 5 lounges a night to look for people to recruit to the dark side. I would tell people their fortune. I would tell people their lives. I would tell people things that they did, things that was going to happen to them. That then they had no clue who I was. They didn't know who I was. I just had the demonic powers. I had a taste for blood. I would kill animals and drink the blood every week. If I didn't have money if I didn't have time to buy an animal, I would cut myself and drink my own blood. The ring of the people that I was with that was in this demonic world, doctors, lawyers, principals, judges, police officers, they were all into witchcraft. There was all, even singers today that are very well known. I would move principalities from that region to control demons on the ground to operate the church, to cut down the church, to cut down the growth of the church, to cut down the opportunity for people to get saved. I would be drunk. I'd come out of a club and I would have demon possessed, drunk. I would stand in the middle of the street and say to God, come down. You want some of this? You want me to slap you in your face? You want me to spit you in your face? You come and mess with me. I got married in Halloween. I had a demonic wedding on Halloween. I got married in Halloween. All the demons and principalities from different regions around the world came to my wedding. No human beings came to my wedding. They were afraid to come to my wedding. So I had I sent out invitations. No one showed up. So there were no wedding gifts. But demons came to my wedding and baptized my wedding. So my wife was a witch. I was a witch. And then my daughter was born, and I was training her to be a witch too. I remember the first time that I was going to sacrifice my first human being. The devil was sitting in the passenger side of my car when I parked. He said, you love me? I said, of course I love you, Daddy. He said, there's a guy on the rooftop. He's going to try to take you and take your money or hurt you. You kill him if you love me. So when I went up there to the rooftop, I lived on the 12th floor. I remember that. And when I went up to the rooftop, I remember the part that he was hiding behind the stairway. And this guy was like 6'5". 250 pounds. I was half demon possessed. I felt the demon within me, and it wasn't even me anymore. So I was going to drag him into my apartment and stab him in the neck because I had a cardrone pot, which weighed about 100 pounds plus, and I had like 9 machetes in it, and I had knives in it that I used to kill the roosters with. But when I went to grab this guy that I wanted to bring him to my apartment, he just went off my hands and just disappeared. He went down the story. I mean, this guy was like an Olympic athlete. He just whoosh, he just gone, disappear, and I couldn't grab him and kill him. So I was very disappointed that I couldn't kill my first human being. People go to the city over. It's a demon right here. This is the one I was telling you about that is in my book. It's a little demon. Here's another one. This is the demon that runs Haiti. Principality over Haiti. The one that's over there, principality over Islam. Principality over Islam. Principality over Islam. And look at this. Trap the people. The truth. Isn't that funny? Truth will set you free. I mean, ain't this a joke? They put it up there so people can think that they're part of this.
What is this place?
This is the Botanica. This is a place that these everyone in the Bronx come here to buy the ingredients to do witchcraft and hurt people and kill people. This is the place. We can go inside. Come on, let's see if we can find something. If I tell you I was going to kill you in 30 days, you prepare your funeral, you was going to die in 30 days. If you, I don't care who you were, I don't care who you knew, I don't care what you call yourself. If you were Catholic and you say you were Christian and you say you were a believer, I was going to kill you. Unless you had a real relationship with Jesus Christ. And the lady that lived downstairs, she came up and she told me, my husband is cheating. I want you to kill the woman that he's cheating with. Put a witchcraft spell on her and kill her. How much you charge me? I said, well, come back. I'm going to speak to the devil, my daddy. And I'll let you know, come back in a couple of days. So the lady came back, the devil told me what to buy. He said, buy a coffin box, buy 21 black candles, buy an image of the lady, put her in the box, you know, to do the witchcraft, to kill this lady. So we were going to do her, for 21 days she was going to die. After 21 days we were going to do her funeral. So when the lady came to me, I said, I'm going to charge you $10,000. I told her, to kill the lady. She said, sure. She said, I tell you what, I know you, you've been good to me, I go to your house parties. Give me $7,000. I'll give you 30% off. I said, I'll kill her. I give me 30%. I take 30% off the 10. Give me 7,000. So when the lady was going to leave my house, she said, by the way, she's a Christian. She said, the lady's a Christian. I said, I'll kill her for free. I said, I don't need the money. I said, I'm going to kill her for free. I'm going to teach these Christians a lesson that they're going to learn. I'll kill her for free. I told her, I don't want your money. I'll kill her for free. So I did the voodoo thing. I did the witchcraft thing. And 21 days went by. The lady didn't die. A month went by. The lady didn't die. And I was like, wow, you know, what's going on? I mean, my reputation's online. So I called the devil, I called the demons that was signed. I increased the witchcraft. I increased the witchcraft. I doubled the witchcraft on it so she can die like overnight. Nothing was going on. Nothing was going on. I was home at night and the devil shows up. And I feel the presence of the devil comes into my house. And then the devil told me, we have to abort the plan of the lady that you want to kill. And I said, why would we want to abort the plan? My reputation online. I'm a witch. I'm a warlock. If I don't kill the lady, they're going to think that I don't have any powers. The devil said, you don't understand. The God that she serves said, don't leave her alone. Don't touch her. And I said, who's this God? She said, the God that she serves. So I was so angry. I said, no, but let's get one more week. Let's kill her. And he said, no, the God that she serves said, leave her alone. From the witchcraft that I did to the lady, she should have been dead in less than 21 days. How you doing, man?
It's going to grab me when I see it.
This is Jezebel. This is Jezebel, this religion. This is how it works. See, these statues here, this here don't mean nothing. But it's the demon behind it. So in order for me to identify to this has to be created because I can't identify to a spirit. I can't identify to because the spirit, we don't have nothing in common. I'm humanity. A spirit is immortality. A spirit is a spirit demon. I can't relate to it. So in order for me to relate to it, he has to put this guy in the middle so I can relate to it because he's human form. He looks like a human being. There's a story behind this guy, so now I can relate to him. So the demon operates to him. Understand? Same thing with these guys. And then they give themselves names and days and birthdays. These are how the American Indians get caught up with demonic forces and they get caught up into the occult. These are the entrapment of the Native American Indians. But those are statues that the people that use to camouflage the demonic ways and demonic religion. There's nothing here that is holy. There's nothing here. The only thing that's holy here is us standing here.
What happens in this place? Like
this
what?
place here in the back, they do witchcraft, they do voodoo, they do witch spells in the back, they do cleansing in the back. Over here, all these demons, they want you to buy these statues so you can take a demon home. They select the prayers. So they make you believe that you pray to God. Look, see, I used to use this book for selected prayers. They make you think that you're praying to God, but these prayers are not God. They're not godly prayers. There's nothing in the Bible. They say nothing about the Bible. The crucifixion. We had a book in New York, in America. I was the third person to get this book that has symbols of the book, of different demons, of different principalities, of different ways of killing people through witchcraft. And this book was so, no one had a copy of this book. You couldn't have a copy of this book unless the devil signed off on it. And I was the third person that received that book. And I would take symbols from that book and do witchcraft to people and put people in make people lose their mind. I put witchcraft on people, make people get diseases out of nowhere. I put witchcraft on people, make people get leprosy. I put witchcraft on people, make people get cancer. I mean, I did witchcraft to people. I gave people miscarriages. I gave people abortions. I put people in hospital for surgeries that didn't even have to go surgeries. I did witchcraft so people can lose their minds. I put spirits of bipolar, schizophrenia. I put spirits of disease on people. I put suicide spirits on people. I'd be up all night long praying and talking to the devil. When Christians can't even go to church for 1 hour. When Christians can't even pray for 1 hour. The spirit realm is more real than the natural realm. And we fail to see that. And whatever is not covered with Jesus Christ is an easy target to bring down. Like the atheists, I can kill them easily. They were easy to kill. The Jehovah's Witnesses were easy to destroy. Moment later, it was easy to destroy. The people that will walk around and say we don't believe in the devil, they were easy to destroy because they will not seek any spiritual help. I remember the time that Nicky Cruz group came into my neighborhood, and it's called Truce. They would come and do drive-bys in my neighborhood. They would do like worship, and then they would preach a word and go to another corner and do the same thing. And I came after this group to try to bring them down, this group. And they were young kids. They were like 18, 17, 16, 20. I mean, so I said, how dare they play this junk, this filthy music in my neighborhood with today we call worship. This filthy music in my neighborhood. I'm going to go after them. I'm going to destroy these kids. So when I went up to where they were at, there was a wall of fire around them. I couldn't penetrate and touch them. And there was something pushing me back. Every time I tried to throw demonic forces again, there was something that would just push me back. And I was able to touch these kids. And I said, there was something here. It's not right. Something is not falling into place. So I walked away and I left them alone. I didn't want to deal with them. I said, okay, they won this first round.
So there's obviously spirits here watching us.
Yeah, watching us. Yeah, of course they're watching us.
Yeah, and so we're all protected.
We're protected. Yeah, we're under the blood, brother. They're none like the blood of Jesus.
Okay.
Man, we're all protected, but they're nothing they can touch us because Job said, "What we got a hedge of protection around us, and we can walk into this place. We can chase demons out of here. We can curse this place to the ground in Jesus' name, and there's nothing that the devil can do." I mean, I had so much money. Beautiful cars, beautiful woman. I had it all. I lived in a world that people, my neighborhood they were terrified who I was. They said, if you mess with that guy, your family will die. If you mess with that guy, he don't need a gun. He'll kill your family in his sleep. My daddy was awesome. My daddy was, he knew, he gave me powers beyond I could imagine. He gave me powers that people had fear me. The police had fear me. The securities in my neighborhood had fear me. People that knew that I was the devil's, they would call me the devil's son. I brought Christians to their knees, not to prayer, because they had no power. It wasn't because your God wasn't all-powerful. Don't get me wrong. Because your God was all-powerful. The vessel was weak. The vessel had no prayer life. The prayer had no fasting life. And they had no relationship with God. There was a form of godliness in the person, but no power. The person was weak. The person had nothing going. He had a Bible. He had the right suit on. She had the right dress on. But there was no connection with Jesus Christ, because you was out of his will, you was out of his promises, and you was out of his divine purpose. And I had you, I own you, I had you as a slave. I broke you, I put witchcraft on you. I kept doing that to Christian after Christian after Christian, after families, after churches. I chased everything down that represented the cross of Jesus Christ. Very demonic place.
So that place has an effect on the whole neighborhood, you're saying?
Oh yeah, of course. Oh, that just had this whole region on lockdown. That's the devil's throne. We just went into the devil's throne.
That drone business since the 80s. And then they go there, spend $100, $200 buying all these things, and then they broke. They're on welfare, public assistance, but they got money to buy all this junk. But they think their life is going to get better. They think that their life is going to improve. They think that they're going to make progress in life. They think that they're going to break generational curses. They think they're going to break, vex spells, voodoo. They think they're going to break all that. And basically, God said, "I come. I do it for you for free. Just give your life to me, and I'll set you free." But they don't want that. That's too difficult for them. That's too complicated for them. But they can walk into a place like this and drop $200 to think that their life is going to be free, and they're going to live a life in abundance. I had contact with the principality that runs Haiti. His name is Candelo. I had contact with him. I had contact with demons in Miami. I had contact with demons in Africa. I had contact with demons here in New York City, principalities that run the crossroads of the world, here on 42nd Street. Okay, there's a different principality that run the crossroads of the world here on 42nd Street than the ones that try to run here in this neighborhood. I didn't have a conscience. I remember I did witchcraft to my brother and I put him in jail for 5 years. The witchcraft I did to my own brother, my own flesh and blood. I did witchcraft to him, I put him in jail for 5 years. My other brother that was a warlock, he came into my house one time with an attitude and the demon jumped on him. And he ran out the house. He couldn't hold the pain in his stomach. My mother can bear witness to that. I did so much ceremonies in my body. I did so much ceremonies in my body. The last ceremony I did was not only sell my soul to the devil. I did a ceremony that I had to swallow animal blood and gunpowder. It was called Sansi. Sansi is a ceremony of Haitian and French that you do the ceremony with a demon. So when I go to people's houses and eat, they can't put witchcraft on the food. I did that kind. I did all the ceremonies you can do. I knew I would go to demon church. And every year, we would have a meeting, a secret meeting. All the high witches and warlock would have this meeting to find out what principality we were going to usher out and bring in to run the region. We were more organized than the church itself. The kingdom of darkness was more organized than the Church of Jesus Christ. We knew how to do ceremonies. We knew how to do things before the year was over to prepare ourselves for the next year. When Christians couldn't go to church and pray for 1 hour. When Christians could go to church and have a consistent relationship with God. I even took a sabbatical from witchcraft, and the devil punished me, took my eyesight for 1 year. I was completely blind for 1 year, registered with the Commission of the Blind. I was completely blind. They was training me to use an eye-seeing dog, and they was training me to use one of these sticks that you use that you walk the streets with. My mother took care of me for 1 year. My eyes went black, and a mist of gray went over my eyes. I was completely blind, and when I gave my life back to the devil, after 7 surgery, the devil gave me back my eyesight, and I could see again. And that was my punishment for taking 1 year off. I wanted to take off. The devil said, "You want 1 year off? I'll give it to you." He took my eyesight, and that's the world I lived in. If you mess with the devil, he'll kill you. He'll kill your family. It was a fear that will grip you beyond measure. That you could not leave this religion. You could not leave Santeria. You could not leave Palamanyumbe, and you could not leave spiritualism. The doctors could not explain how I lost my eyesight. Meanwhile, Christians, and I was like, what Christians do bad? And Christians sometimes miss the mark. And the only thing that shows up in their house is grace and mercy. When you show up with the devil and you do something the devil don't like, he kills someone, he kill your family member. And I remember the devil warned this lady, she said, you can't be with that person no more. And she didn't care because she was in love with the person. The devil, demon possessed a homeless guy in the street. He took a hammer, hit her 17 times over her head, and killed her. One day I was sitting home, and it was amazing. I came from a nightclub the night before. I was sitting home watching a show called Jerry Springer. I know, a crazy show. People beat each other up. I get joy out of that. I was getting joy out of that, laughing. For the first time, I heard a voice said to me, son, I am coming soon. What are you going to do with your life? I ordered a voice, shot from across the room. And I thought it was the TV that was talking to me. And I said, no, it can't be a TV because these people are beating each other up. This voice. I knew the voice of the devil. I would sit with the devil like I'm sitting with you today. And he would come into human form. He will come in the room. He'll come in sometime. The presence of him will come into the room. The atmosphere changes. And I know he would sit with me and he would talk into my conscience and we would talk back and talk all night long. I knew that too. I knew it like you know the back of your hand. I knew every demon, every principality that ran the region. Ran everything in America, everything in Canada, everything that ran. I knew every principality that ran, every occult, Wicca, New Age, Buddhism, Islam, Santeria, spiritualism. I knew every principality that ran. I had a contract with every principality.
with them. I had straight 8 marks for every principality, every demon on the ground, the devil, Jezebel. I had new demons that I can't even tell you the name because you won't know who they are. I knew them all by name. And this voice was very different than any other voice. When I heard that voice come out of nowhere, it came out of the air, the voice. And I wanted to shock, and then I saw a vision from the other side of the apartment that the sky was on fire and people underneath. I saw people running for cover, but there was no cover where to hide. And I said, why would I see that vision? So I shook it off. But I remember I went to sleep, and like a deep sleep. Someone put anesthesia, and I went to sleep. I ended up in a train full of people. I couldn't believe that I was in a train full of people. And this train was going faster than you could ever imagine. I'd never been on something this fast on earth. And it went into hell. And Jesus Christ took me to hell. And when I got to hell, the doors opened. I mean, there was a slam in the doors. There was an unspeakable echo. The doors opened. And there was heat that came out of nowhere. That I felt like you were going to suffocate, the heat that came out. And I got out the train, and the people in the train, they had no faces. But you could see the fear on the people on the train. You could feel the fear, the impact of the fear that they were going to a place that they were never going to return. And the place was packed. And then I tried, I said, I can't die here. I said, I can't die. This is not for me. I wasn't born to be in this place. I was saying this to myself. I was not born to be here. So I tried to find like a tunnel in hell. And I was walking to the tunnel. I was trying to run to the tunnels in hell, try to find a door. Maybe a window. Maybe there was a gap somewhere that I can come out and come back to reality. But there was no gap. And I remember as the more I went into the tunnels, the more the fear gripped me. The more the suffering. I heard suffering. Darkness drapes over you. This fear drapes over, like you're wearing a garment. This fear drapes over you. It's something you can't even control. You have no control over. It's something like it grabs you. That it don't even let you go. I couldn't see the hand in front of my face, but I hear the wailing. I hear wailing. Like, you ever hear like a kid wail and an animal wail at the same time? Like, it's like that kind of wailing. It's indescribable. And it was a heat and a smell that was like if you was like in the sewers of the gutters of New York City. But I mean, but crazier than that. And then I came to a part of the tunnel. The devil showed up. He said, I was your daddy. He spoke to me in the amount of time. I was your daddy. I gave you everything you needed. I took care of you. I blessed you. I protected you. I killed people for you. I did everything. I gave you powers. I gave you a name in the kingdom of darkness. I gave you a name. When people came against you, I destroyed them because I knew that you were going to be the vessel that I was going to use to move my kingdom on the earth. And now you want to leave me? Now you want to betray me in demonic tongues? And I'm talking to him back in demonic tongues and telling him, no, I'm not leaving you. I'm just confused. I don't know what's going on. And he said, no, I know what you're going to do. You're going to leave me and you're going to expose my religion. You're going to expose who I am and how I operate in the spirit realm. Because I taught you things that I never taught no one else. I showed you things. I trusted you with the things that I needed you to know so you can further my kingdom. Because I wanted to use you in a greater measure way. And the confused, he went to grab me. As he went to grab me to destroy me, the cross of Jesus Christ appeared in hell. I didn't understand how a 3-foot cross appeared in hell when I was wearing the blue shorts and a t-shirt. And I put it on him. And when I put it on him, the devil melted like he was an infant. Like an infant, he melted and fell on the floor, like no powers. So I took that opportunity. I ran deeper into the gates. I ran deeper into the tunnels of hell, hoping that there was a door. My hope was being. It was a hope and a hope at all. There was no place to say, I'm coming out of here. This is it. This is the end. I had a fear that gripped me that I was indescribable. I never felt a fear like that. I never felt a despair. It was the opposite of what heaven is. It was opposite of joy. It was opposite of gladness. It was opposite of peace. It was opposite of light from darkness. It was a place of torment, a place of, if I'm here, my family don't know I'm here. My daughter don't know I'm here. How would they find me? How would they look for me? So as I went deep into the tunnel of hell, hoping that there was a door, a window, a crack somewhere that I can get out, the devil showed up against, and now we'll destroy you. So what I did was to tell him in the demonic language, I got these marks. These are my contract to protect me, to destroy you. He said, fool, I gave you those marks. Those are my marks that I own you. I own you. No one owns you. I do. And you're going to live for me or you die. And when he went to grab me the second time around, I said, it's finished. I said, this is it. He went to grab me the second time around. the cross of Jesus Christ appear in hell. There's no greater love than the cross that will come for a sinner like me in hell. So when David said, if I make my bed in hell, he knows I'm there. Grace and mercy showed up in hell. Grace and mercy knew my address. Grace and mercy have a plan for my life. To my despicable, demonic, selfish ways, arrogant, self-centered ways in hell, when I was done for the count, Jesus Christ loved the misfit. And he said, I have a plan for you. I loved you beyond you can ever imagine. And he showed up in hell. And when I woke up, then my spirit came back into my body. I woke up and I bent my knee to Jesus Christ. I had $100,000 witchcraft stuff in my house. I threw witchcraft away. I threw religion away. I threw everything that had to do with darkness away. The people from Haiti, the people from Cuba, the people from Miami and New York said we have to kill him because he knows too much. We have to destroy him. We have to kill him because he knows too much. He's not one of us anymore. And they came for the kill. They did their best. They came for the kill. I would sleep during the day. To stay at night when the demons show up and tormented me for 30 days. They tormented me for 30 days. They would grab me by my throat, pick me off my bed. The room would go cold. I would lay in my bed. I felt another person lay next to me, ice cold, another person. I would look like this and I can feel the presence. It was the devil himself right in my bed. For 30 days, on and off, tormenting, torture, try to steal my mind, try to rip my soul out of my body, try to rip my spirit out of my body. I would tremble at night, like never trembled before, for 30 days, and I would cry out. I didn't know how to pray. I said, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Didn't know how to pray. I said, maybe I pray like my sister prays. I heard her in church, she prayed this way. I heard that person pray this way. I would bring all these prayers together to try to put them together like a puzzle, to try to fight for my life. And one day I was in church worshiping, and I would ask the Lord, why are you letting people, why you let this happen to me? And one day I heard the voice of God again. He said, I wanted to see how much you love me. And he said, I wanted to see how much you trust me. And ever again, I was tormented by the devil. And I became an evangelist for Jesus Christ. 14 years serving the Lord, and I will never trade it for nothing in the world. And I know that somewhere in Hallelujah Boulevard, there is a mansion for John Ramirez. And one day it says, welcome home, well done, faithful servant. And I tell you, there's nothing. And I'm not talking about Christianity, I'm talking about relationship with Jesus Christ. He is my Lord and Savior. He is my beginning and end. No weapon formed against me will ever prosper. I died when Jesus said I go home. Not because of a witch, not because of a person, not because of heck, voodoo, vex, incantation, none of that can separate me from the love of God. $100,000 of witchcraft, selling my soul, marks here, marks here, marks here. But the biggest mark is here, is the love that I have of the cross. And nothing like the cross of Jesus Christ. And I tell you this, and I end with this. I was cursed, I became blessed, because the one that was blessed became cursed for me. And I switched daddies. And my daddy sits in the universe. And he loved me beyond I could imagine. And that love now I can give to my daughter. And my daughter today, she's a born-again Christian, graduate from college, psychology major. And I know that God's going to use her in a greater way. Because the baton that I have, I will pass to her, the right baton this time. And I know she'll do a greater exploit than her daddy. And before I leave the earth, people will know that John Ramirez was here because he served Almighty God. Amen.